Guys, and we're back with another technique critique, and this time it's again Nick from our last camp. Now just have a look at this clip of the ride. And then for all intents and purposes, this looks really, really nice. Okay, so just have a look. Riding. Nick was just on the brink of riding upwind. He was riding upwind, but obviously the mistakes in between was causing him to often do the walk of shame. So we'll have a look at the carve jive later. We've already looked at that in an earlier video. But to all intents and purposes, the riding there now looks pretty nice generally, but I want to point something out to you. And this was something that we saw on the first day and really struggled to kind of get across the point. And it wasn't until we saw the video that Nick himself was able to see this and correct it. But look what's happening. Look at what's here, his left shoulder. Okay, can you see this position, how awkward it looks, and how it's flinging his entire body out of shape? Now he comes back up, and as the kite powers up, he gets back into a nice shape. And then a bit later on, the kite depowers again. He tries to work the kite a bit more. I think it's come there. See how again his left shoulder drops, not quite as apparent this time. There. See how his left shoulder is all the way back. Now he's leaning back towards his back foot rather than out and off the back of the board. And this was something we saw happening time and time again. Now this is a lot less exaggerated than it was to start with. So he's cleaned it up an awful lot there. Well done, mate. But you can still see that he's dropping that left shoulder to try and steer the kite, to try and gain the power in the kite, whereas really he should be working his hands like pistons. Now this is a common error that we see at this stage, and it's very, very difficult for you as a rider, if it's you doing this, to diagnose it without seeing it on video, okay? Now, as soon as we made him aware of this and showed him it on video, he was able to start correcting it. But until that point, he wasn't even aware he was doing it. And us trying to explain on the beach, he was looking at as if we were mad. But what he's doing here is as he's shifting his upper body towards his back foot, he's unbalancing himself. So he's putting more weight towards the back foot, whereas really it should be going onto the edge, which means he's slowing down, which means he has to work the kite more, which means he gets into the feedback cycle of doing this more. Whereas actually the way to correct it is rather than leaning what would be kind of, well, if you think of backwards towards your back foot, i.e. towards the back of the board, lean out over the back edge of the board, if that makes sense, over the rear rail, the heel edge rail of the board. And it stops you from mutating, if you like, into this quite awkward looking body position. Now again, by the end of the week he'd nailed this, and this was really, really good. This was one of his last runs on the last day, but by the end of the day he'd wiped this out entirely. But just a really interesting thing that we see time and time again that's actually quite difficult to critique for yourself. And again, I think the carve jibe at the end is the same problem as the other one yet. Again, just doesn't quite, sends the kite and the board at the same time. So we have that same problem whereby you're moving towards the kite, whereas you should have sent the kite first to exit nice and hard. Again, great week, mate, and we'll see you next time.